Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Stallings. You know me here on YouTube as MarauderEX, and as always, I'm your host for Operation Recap. We take some of the stories from OpRainfall.com, and I share them here on YouTube on our YouTube channel because, you know, media. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's way too early, and I'm way too tired. I've got several stories this week, a little more than usual, but it's been kind of a busy week. News is going to start, trickling out faster and faster and faster because we are getting closer and closer to E3. So, all these pre-E3 leaks are now becoming, the trend. So, got a lot of news to cover. So let's just jump right into it today, shall we? First story of the week is Nintendo and Universal are partnering up to make Resort. What? Okay, so Universal Studios, they've got Universal Studios in Florida, theme park, rides, attractions, etc., like Wizarding World of Harry Potter, etc. They're partnering with Nintendo. They're going to do the same thing. So now, instead of Wizard World of Harry Potter, we're going to have, the Mushroom Kingdom or Hyrule, which is going to be kind of awesome. There has been no announcement of what IPs are going to be used for it, so we don't know if it's going to be Mario or Zelda or Kirby or any of that. We don't know. But they've announced it's happening. Something is happening. There's going to be a Nintendo-related theme park area, Nintendo-related rides and attractions. So this is kind of cool. Kind of a reason to go to, Universal Studios if you're a gamer geek. But, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it. I mean, Harry Potter was big, and the Wizarding World is keeping that franchise going. So maybe having a roller coaster themed after Star Fox could be a thing. Who knows? So go check it out. There's, like I said, there's very little information on it. Just the announcement that it's happening. But we will update you as soon as we figure out what they're actually planning on doing. So the second story of the week is Sega will not have a booth at E3. This is not necessarily new news. There was an announcement that Sega would not have a presentation at E3, but not a booth. Is a little. It's sad to see. Sega was one of the founding forces behind E3. They were one of the first keynote speakers, the very first E3. Like, they helped build E3, and to not be there is a little concerning. They are focusing on their restructuring efforts, which, when you phrase it like that, sounds really bad, that you're not going to a press event when you're focusing on trying to do whatever it is you're trying to do. Especially when the last things you've said you're doing is focusing more on PC and mobile gaming. PC end of it should have some stuff there, but I guarantee you there's very little at E3 that, is mobile focused. There are mobile developers there, but it's no. There is confirmation that there will be some Sega influence, because Sony has already said there will be, information on Yakuza 5 at their booth, and then we can assume that, Total War would have something as well. So Sega will be kind of there in pieces scattered around everywhere, but they will not have a central booth of their own, which, again, it's disconcerting. It really is. It really is. Here's hoping 2016, by then Sega's got their act together and they can show back up to, the industry event that they helped create. So, speaking of things that are disconcerting, Nintendo officially acknowledges the Amiibo. And when I say the Amiibo, I mean in the grand scheme of things. The fact that, there's shortages, there's issues with scalping, there's issues with everything. The Amiibo are issues. They go on a official statement saying, "We appreciate the enthusiasm of our fans. We're trying to meet the demand of fans by increasing the amount of Amiibo, but characters, some characters are just going to be rare because, people want more of them than we are going to be able to produce," which you can always produce more. You really could. And given how fast some of these things are flying off the shelves, could. And that they remain committed to keeping Amiibo affordable and easily accessible, blah, 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 blah. All of this is PR speak to where it's, we screwed up, we don't know how to fix it, and we're probably not going to try. That's the long and short of it. From the announcement. It's like, yay for acknowledging it, but unless you're going to do something proactive, like stop with retailer exclusives that you only give them like apparently 1,000 to do, or how about take pre-orders before you manufacture it, so you have a rough idea of just how many people want, specific figures, so that, if you need, like, there's a demand for 10,000 Marths, you don't make 1,000 Marths and then wonder why people are upset. Just thoughts that, have come out. Or how about just make them print on demand? They do that with books. Once you get a certain number of pre-orders, you make another run. Why not sell directly from the Nintendo.com site? That's the biggest thing that I don't understand about this. Why are you not selling it directly? Like, wouldn't that just be kind of a killing for you? Just shipping out, you make money hand over fist doing that. But I guess it's a logical explanation, and we can't expect logic when this is the norm. When, one person on YouTube can buy 500 Rosalinas to destroy half of them because people are stupid. Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing with the amiibos. That's the long and short of it. But we knew that already. We've known that for months. It's just entertaining to hear them acknowledge this. And speaking of Nintendo, but good Nintendo, there is a Kickstarter for a new SNES game, Sydney Hunter and the Caverns of Death. And yes, this is a Kickstarter to make a Super Nintendo game on the Super Nintendo. A lot of people are like, why is this happening? What the deal? Like, the stretch goals for it are to have it on the eShop and like Xbox One, etc., have it on digital platforms, but the base goal of the Kickstarter is to make physical cartridge copies for the SNES, which kind of blows people's minds, and it doesn't blow my mind because I've seen the success of Pure Solar. It started off as a cartridge game, a fan-made game on the Genesis, like 20 years after the Genesis had stopped getting support. So this is not a surprise to me. It's kind of a surprise that it's taken this long for anyone to do it for the SNES. Pure Solar came out on the Genesis. I was expecting someone else to do a SNES. I'm expecting, you've got like Battle Kid and things like that for the NES. I'm kind of surprised people aren't still making games for some of these consoles, because it's, fairly easy to code for these days. It's just, getting the donor cartridges are the biggest problem. And I think that's what the Kickstarter for this is aimed to go for, is to get donor cartridges to make it. And then, if it's popular as an, legitimate cart for, weird collectors like myself, then the people who just want to play it, if you Kickstart, you're gonna get the eShop or the Xbox or whatever else that they're aiming to stretch for, depending on how much money they make. So I'm a fan of, old school indie development like this. So go check that out. So yeah, those are the stories that I covered this week. There's probably about 24 more that looked interesting but got a little more press. So I left those out. But you can go check those out at Rainfall. So rainfall.com. And I will see you guys next week with another recap. So till then, later everyone.